Can you see it?
Almost. It's loading. Come on. Here we go. Looks like I just see you right now.
That's so weird. Because you're the spotlighted person.
Yeah, right now I've got both of us spotlighted. Yeah, and I only see you on it even when I'm talking. And then let's try to let's see what happens when we pin. Add pin. Okay, so now we're both pinned. It's gonna take a minute.
Right.
Okay, now I popped up. So yeah, it looks like when they're both spotlighted, it's gonna just bounce back and forth between whoever's talking on Zoom.
That'll work though, for what I'm thinking about too.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. All right. I'm out. I'll see you at 7:05. Ted, good to see you and thanks for coming by, man. Is there anything you want me to play for you? Anything you can think of? No?
Play whatever.
Or play my
I
old
like all
drinking
your stuff.
play all my old drinking songs and stuff?
There you go. 100 bottles of beer on the wall.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We will be getting started in just another couple of minutes. A reminder that, as always, this is a free show, so do not feel obligated to tip. But if you'd like to do so, there are going to be links in all of the various chats. Thank you for your patience. We'll get started in just a moment.
Hello, everyone. Go like this if you can hear me. There you go. Hi, Scott. Hello, everyone. Wow, look at all these folks. Wow, thank you for coming. Dawn White on Thursday nights. Sarah's here. We have to wait for her to come in because she's the the A number one Zoom fan. There she is, all the way from California. So we have Kansas, Nebraska. So write in the chat where you're from, if it's any long distance or whatever. We're glad to have you. Today, it was, let's see, the other day, the 1st of December, I was at the end of the day, and I was thought, December 1st, that's something, isn't it? I can't remember. Turns out it was the day I quit drinking, then I did the math, and it was 30 years ago. How about that? That's pretty wild, isn't it? 30 years. So I thought maybe I'd do a little bit, lean the show a little bit that way here. But first, I want to teach you how to unmute yourselves so that we can have some interaction. So what we'd like to do is, if you're in a quiet place, we'd like you to raise your hand up. And the way you do it is by going down here to the participants icon, which is at the bottom of your page. There it is right there. Look at that. The two torsos. When you click on that, it opens up a window in Zoom. And in that window is, somewhere down the bottom there, the blue hand of freedom. There it is. See the blue hand of freedom down there? If you raise that up, you're telling us that you're in a pretty quiet place, which means, no phones are going to ring. In Zoom, any sound that you make is as loud as I am. So just picture yourselves kind of in a church basement or something where you do have to be quiet, but don't have to worry about it. Brandon, our technician, will mute you and unmute you if some unexpected noise comes up, but we want to have as many people unmuted as possible. So let's see if we can get a few more. And if you can't raise your hand up, if you can't figure out the blue hand of freedom, just go in the chat and ask Brandon to unmute you. Okay, so let's see if we get any more. Tommy and Marlene, come on, you guys, it's quiet over there. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just try to get a few more. Oh, Steve Roach. Okay, everybody's here today. Wow, look at this. All right, so here we're going to test it. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd like to get some more, so let's get a few more, but let's just test it. So I'm going to count to 3, and at the end of, when I get to 3, I want everybody that's unmuted to laugh as if I just said the funniest thing that ever happened, all right? So 1, 2, 3, go ahead, laugh, everyone. Now, you see, the interactive nature of this experience is there before you. So let's get as many as we can unmuted if you're in a quiet place, and then we'll just proceed accordingly. So I'm going to play just a few songs here. First one is about my hometown. It's called I'm From Lynn. What Can I Say? I was born in the city of Lynn, home of the first turbine engine, and as if that wasn't enough, it is also the home of marshmallow fluff. You can travel the whole country, you'll never find a bigger fluff factory. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. I don't talk slick like I'm from the Hant. I'm the son of a 30-year GE man. Lord Almighty, what can I say? People from Lynn just act this way. We used to hang around in Barry Park. That's illegal after it gets dark. Stand on the bleachers where things got smoked and beer got chugged and lug bottles got broke. Later in the evening when the police come, 27 juveniles are on the run. Juveniles are running everywhere you see, jumping over fences, climbing in trees. But Don White is too loaded to get away. His name is in the paper on the next day. His mother and his father just can't believe he would publicly humiliate the family. I say, Mom, from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. I don't talk slick, that's what I said. I'm not from Swampscott or Marblehead. Don't be staring at me that way. I am from Lynn, what can I say? On the corner of every street, somebody's cooking something greasy to eat. Deep fat is frying everywhere you look. The town is bound for the record books. It's a million sub shops open all night long. A socio-intestinal phenomenon. I have to tell you, I wrote this song in the 70s. And that line, socio-intestinal phenomenon, I still think it's the best line I ever wrote. I pinnacled in the 70s, that's what I'm saying. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn eat this way. There's no room in my stomach for French cuisine. Give me a bag of cheese curls and a submarine. Julia Child, get out of my way. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? I left Lynn 10 years ago. I didn't know where I was gonna go. 10 of my friends were leaning up against a bar and grill. 10 years later, they're leaning there still. Half of my friends who are not on the street are dead, in jail, or annoying me, and I'm from Lynn. What can I say? People from Lynn act this way. I don't talk slick, that's what I said. I'm not from Swampscott or Marblehead. Don't be staring at me that way. I'm from Lynn, what can I say?
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Yeah! Woo!
All right, so we do like the interactive nature. There's a bunch of new people. I want to welcome Michelle. Michelle, I'm so happy to see you. Thank you. So we want you to unmute, to ask to be unmuted if you're in a quiet place. So those of you that just came in, you can raise the blue hand, the blue hand of freedom, or you can just ask somebody. Just go in the chat and ask Brandon to unmute you so we can get a few more people. The more interactive, the better for me. But thank you and welcome. So I'm celebrating 30 years of sobriety, and this has been a heck of a week for me, actually. So just let me tell you this. So, like, on the 29th, 5 years ago, on November 29th, I got my, what do you call it? My information back from my surgery. I had cancer surgery, and it was on the 29th, 5 years ago, that they told me that I didn't have cancer anymore and that I was okay. So I had a 5 year no cancer thing a week ago. That's not bad, right? I don't want to brag about it. Could come back, whatever. But it was noteworthy. And then, like I was telling everybody earlier, on the December 1st, I was like, December 1st, isn't that a date? Doesn't that mean something? Like, I don't even pay attention to this stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the date I quit drinking. And then I did the math, and it was 30 years ago. So I'm 5 years without cancer and 30 years without alcohol. I think I should.
All right, Don.
Seems like a good reason to go get drunk, doesn't it?
Oh,
So I normally, I have to tell you this, of those of you that see me all the time, prior to COVID, I had, like, I think 5 separate fan bases, and I customized my shows for them, and never the twain ever met. They never intertwined. Like, when I would play for Unitarians, I would play stuff that I know wouldn't freak them out. When I play for people in Lynn, I could be a little rougher. Like, when I'm playing for working class people, the guys with tools in their back pockets, there's a set for them, and I was able to keep them all separated. But here, it's just a mishmash of everybody. So one of the groups that I play for is the groups of people in sobriety, people in recovery. I have been one of the closing acts for, I think, the biggest sober festival in the country, Sober in the Sun it's called. For 30 years I've been a closing act there, but I don't really do that much with this, when I'm mixing everyone together. But tonight I thought, just to celebrate, I would do a few. I'm not going to preach. Wait, hang on now. I didn't want to preach too much or anything like that. But so Brandon, help me out there. But I am going to do a couple songs. So I'm going to do this one, which I never do because it needs a band, but I've been practicing it. And this is called The Second Chance Crew. Okay.
Woo! All right.
It's a band song, but I've been practicing, and I think I can do it. And I'll tell you how this came about. My dad, when I was a teenager, when I was in my 18, not 17, 18, he was just looking at the way I was living, and he was just shaking his head. And he goes, you know what? You're not doing good in school. You're partying all the time. You're going to be a hunky. That's what he said. I go, a hunky? What's a hunky? Like, no, like, he had his own language. And so we did some research, and we found out that in the term hunky was in the steel mills in Pennsylvania in the turn of the century. If you were the guy shoveling up the slag, the lowest guy on the totem pole, the guy who came after you and cleaned up the slag that was left, they called them hunkies, right? So my dad was telling me I was going to be the guy cleaning up the slag of the lowest guy in the thing, and he was right. So I wrote this song with my friend John Specky, and we changed it to lumper because we figured only my father knew what a hunky was, and he didn't even know. He just knew that it wasn't something he wanted his son to aspire to. So this is called The Second Chance Crew, and here we go. First time ever, I think, that I had to learn the chords. I played this with the band. I didn't even know how to play this. I'm a singer on this song, so this is quite a debut here. I'm a little nervous. Well, my dad said, son, if you keep going on this way, you're gonna wind up as a lumper on a crew someday. I was laughing so hard, rolling on the floor. Dad, no one uses words like lumper anymore. My friends are outside, it's Friday night, I gotta go, see you later, thanks for the lecture. He said, if you keep doing the things you're doing, if the things you're doing don't do you in, they can always use another lumper on the Second Chance Crew. Me, Billy, Bob, Rick, and Ray, those are my drinking buddies, and we were living for the party every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And don't forget Sunday. One by one they moved away from home. The time went by, the next thing I know, I'm 31, I'm drinking with a bunch of 19-year-olds. Oh, that's not a good look at all, really. If you keep doing the things you're doing. If the things you're doing don't do you in, they can always use another lumper on the second chance crew. Second chance people got a touch of gray, partied their teens and their 20s away. Now they're sober, starting over, and they're 32. They're just so glad to be working on the second chance crew. That's right. Climb up in the attic. It's only 112 degrees up there. You can do it, lumper boy. Get that insulation. Dig that ditch outside. Clean up this place. You should have studied harder in school, boy. I wound up in the program. I know that's no surprise. I make the minimum wage, but at least I didn't die. You know, my knees are aching and my back is sore. I've been dragging these ladders across a plywood floor. And Dad, I never wonder what a lumper is anymore. 'Cause I'm a lumper, that's right. If you keep doing all the things that you are doing, Don White. If the things you're doing don't do you in, they can always use another lumper on the second chance crew. Smoke it, drink it, puff it up your nose, while your education goes up in smoke. And when you're in your 30s and the party is through, we're saving you a seat at the meeting, a job lumping on the crew. Saving you a seat at the meeting. It's like a revival. Seat at the meeting. Everybody wave your hands in your little squares. Seat at the meeting. A seat at the meeting. A seat at the meeting. Hi, I'm Don. I'm an alcoholic. Seat at the meeting. Hi, Don. A seat at the meeting and a job lumping on the crew. A seat at the meeting and a job lumping on the crew. There you go.
Nice job, Don. Wow.
Woo!
Woo! That was great.
I might have to keep that one in. Well, you know, I don't like to play this stuff because it makes people who didn't live a life like me, you know what I mean? Where I made every wrong decision you could possibly make and just barely escaped death somewhere in my early 30s. That, you know, when I started talking about this stuff or playing these things that I would play at the sober festivals, I think they worry about me. I think they're concerned, like it makes them sad, you know? So tonight we're dispensed with a little bit of that here. Let me play a couple, and I have a couple more I'm going to drag out later. But thank you so much for coming and for supporting live music. And here we go. I don't know if Janice Stanfield said she was going to come. She might be watching on some other platform. But if she's here, I wanted to play this for her. This is Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock back in 1969. She keeps her ticket stub and a chunk of mud at her house in a little shrine. She was always the girl in the hippie dress twirling at the shows by the Grateful Dead. If you ask her about it, man, you better sit down. Grandma will talk the ears right off your head. If you get her talk about the Grateful Dead. Summer of Love or Kool-Aid acid test. Jenny was always in her glory when she could hear the stories from her grandma's hippie friends about peace and love, taking care of one another, how great it all was back then. And at night she would dream of being on the bus with Keezy, seeing Jimmy in 69 1969. But when she wasn't dreaming, always had the feeling that somehow she'd been born in the wrong time. You know, you should have been 20 in 1969. All the gray-haired hippies say that all the time. But the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute if you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. Love your grandma, but Bible Ram Dass never said be there then. It's gonna take a big leap of faith if you really want to find your tribe. And those were the first words Jenny heard in a song that she found online. And that summer she drove all the way to Minnesota to the Shangri-La Festival. There they all were, all the people like her who grew up believing that they were all alone. They said, hey girl, welcome home. Because the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are driving down the road all the way to Minnesota, having all kinds of fun singing. Jimmy and Jerry are dead and buried and they're never coming back again. I love you grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said be there then. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock in 1969, and since then she believed there was never going to be a better time, and that's alright. But if you don't take a big leap of faith and get out there and find your scene, it will pass you by while you are trying to find your grandma's long gone Woodstock memories. Her Woodstock memories. While the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute if you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. I love you grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said be there then.
Hey, Don.
All right,
Hi.
Yeah, look at that.
Woo!
I'm gonna put it on gallery so I can see who's here. Let me just take a look at you all here. So those of you that are watching on another format, if you're on let's see, Facebook, we decided is over here. Hello, Facebook people. Hello, welcome. You can watch over there anonymously and watch cat videos in between my concert. Don't worry, it doesn't bother me that you're scrolling while I'm performing. But if you want to come over here, Brandon, our technician, will drop the Zoom information in there, and you can come in here and yell at me in between songs, much the way that my friend Sarah and Neil do. Song there you go. Carrie Carlson, how are you? Nice to see you. Now I see my friend on YouTube over there. Hello YouTube, welcome. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good time. Michelle, where did you go, girl? There you are, right there. So I'm gonna play this song for you, dear. This is somebody I love a great deal. She's just does more for people in this world than my audience is built up of people that are really very kind and generous. But Michelle La Poetica she's a poet and an organizer, and if you are not doing good, she will make sure that you're okay. She will teach you how to find your voice, and as we have talked many times, me and Michelle,
Only 2 minutes, just
that the most radical thing you can do in this world is to give people a voice when they don't have one. So Michelle, ask Brandon in the chat to unmute you so I can flirt with you as the night goes on. All right, but I'm gonna play with this for you here. And this is new, Michelle, but I want you to hear it. When I was writing it, I wanted you to hear it because I saw all the work that you did. This is for people who grew up hard, where their parents were drug addicts, or their parents had problems and they couldn't show them love, but they figured out how to be loving. They didn't get shown any kindness, and they figured out how to be kind. They didn't get shown any generosity of spirit, and they figured that out. They weren't nurtured, and they figured out how to nurture their own kids. And Michelle, you know that between me and you living in Lynn, we see all kinds of that in our world. And I just felt like those folks needed a song. They needed a song because they needed to know that somebody understands the miracle of what they've accomplished, because they didn't have to turn, they weren't taught it, they had to go find it themselves. So this is for you. All right. You were taught by your world that empathy and kindness were the kind of things that made a person weak. They said push and grab and fight every minute of your life, and then trample those between you and what you believe you need. But from the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all the years of fear and insecurity, singing cruelty is always weak, but love and empathy are strong enough to break the chains of selfishness and greed. Gentle is the strongest thing to be. You know it is not your fault that heroin and alcohol made them both too ill to give their children what they really need. But it sure would have been nice to be encouraged once or twice, to feel safe at night, or to have a life with just a little normalcy. But from the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all the years of fear and insecurity, saying when you feel hatred in your heart, you just remember who you are, and that underneath the weight of hate your heart cannot be free. Forgiving is the stronger thing to be. It's not the color of your eyes, it's not your hypnotizing smile, it's not any of the many things that everyone can see. It's the way you always knew what they told you wasn't true. It's how you made yourself the person that they taught you not to be. That's what makes you beautiful to me. A young man's eyes see beauty in what is on the surface and not within. He will walk past what is beautiful to be near the thing that shines. But these old man's eyes find beauty in the story, in the journey. They have seen too much to be fooled by what attracts a young man's eyes. From the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity. There was nothing that this world could do to crush the love inside of you. Under neglect, abuse, and selfishness, you were caring, kind, and generous. It is the lonely road that brought you here. It's how all alone you persevered. It's the defiance and tenacity of your heart song of humanity. And that's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful to me. Yeah.
Oh, Dawn, that's beautiful.
Beautiful, Dawn.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. beautiful, Don.
I'm killing myself over here. Oh man! All right.
Together right now.
All right. Here. Here. Let me read something for you. This is, again, because I have 30 years sober, I'm doing these things that I wouldn't normally do here. But this is a story. It's called The Viking Ship. And it's a story about when I finally decided that I wasn't going to drink anymore. And not just drink, you know, all that other good stuff that goes with it too. So, here. Again, I had been clean and sober for over 2. Then, you know, I'm gonna put this out for anybody who's got somebody they love who's struggling with this. So this was when, like, I had quit and came back and all that. So I don't want this to be like a meeting here, you know, or anything. But this is something that I've taught other people. It's a way of thinking that I just sort of stumbled on. So you know, maybe it'll be useful out there. I had been clean and sober for 2 years when I decided it was time to break out. It was a Friday. The kids were away in Maine for the weekend, and my wife was going to be out with her girlfriends. I had $150 all day at work. I could feel it in my pocket. It was alive. Drug money actually has a heartbeat. As it got closer to the end of the workday, my heart began racing with the anticipation of partying all night with my friends. My mind was filled with the memories of escapades from my heyday, the excitement, the camaraderie, the feeling that we were squeezing every ounce of living out of each second. It was all I could think about. When I got home, the house was empty. The kids were already in Maine, and my wife was out for the night. I opened my little address book with all my loser friends' phone numbers in it, and I laid it next to the phone. I felt like a kid on Christmas morning. Then, staring at the open book, it occurred to me that all day long my mind had been focusing on the 10% of my alcohol memories that fell into the victimless fun category. It was deliberately ignoring the other 90% of associated memories from that era that nearly cost me everything that I held dear. I thought to myself, why is my mind working against me? And this question triggered an interesting series of events. First, I got angry. I kept thinking, I need my mind to do what is best for me. This is clearly not an example where that is the case. Then I forced myself to call up a random cross-section of extremely painful drug and alcohol memories. They're listed here, but I can't even read them. They just kill me to think about it. But let's end them with random daily nosebleeds. Okay. The memories were as abundant as they were nauseating. The evidence was overwhelming. This mind could not be trusted. Well, ain't this a dilemma? If a man is deliberately trying to hurt you, you could, in theory, just kill him. But if you are being betrayed by your own mind, well, applying the same solution poses certain complications. When presented with the statement, my mind is working against me, the only response I could think of was to tear off my own head. Then I saw the Viking ship. I can still see it right now. It's a ship on the ocean. 100 men row in pairs. The ship is my mind. The ocean is my life. Each pair of rowers represents a piece of the team that is responsible for the health and development of one part of who I am. The first 2 guys are the ones that make sure I get out of bed and get to work in the morning. The next 2 make sure that I'm reasonably honest. The next pair help me to be a good dad, and so on. All of these people are doing a fantastic job. They know what their role on the team is, and they are focused and determined to do their part to keep the ship moving in the direction of my continued evolution. In the center of the ship are the 2 guys who like to party. And they are turned around and trying to row in the opposite direction. So as this image took shape between me and my address book, I started laughing. I thought to myself, my mind isn't working against me. I just have a couple of bad employees. I don't need to tear my head off. I just need to discipline these 2 nitwits who apparently haven't read their job descriptions. So I called them into my office. I addressed them formally, Mr. Nit and Mr. Wit. You two are giving the prison work release program a bad name, I say. You see how all the other team members are doing a fantastic job keeping this ship moving forward? If you think for 1 minute that I'm going to sit back and let you little turds undermine the morale of this organization, you must be out your mind. I'm giving you both a written warning, and since you are merely figments of my imagination, if you continue with this insubordination, I will feel no obligation to give you a second warning. Figments have no right to due process. Figments have no rights at all. I will simply have you both thrown overboard. The sun had gone down. The house had grown dark. My heart was no longer racing with anticipation. The money in my pocket had stopped beating. As soon as it learned that it wasn't going to be drug money, it suffered a massive heart attack and died. I closed my little book of phone numbers and put it away. I sat on the couch and turned on the Celtics game. As I settled into the familiar comfort of my living room, I whispered these words. Your mind is not working against you. You just have a couple of bad employees. Deal.
Yeah. Woo.
That was great, Don. Hey.
Writing. Very nice.
Yes, it was.
All right. So, let's see. Does anybody want to hear anything? Throw it in the chat. I'll try to play whatever you want. I'm feeling pretty good today. Feeling pretty good. So, here. So, let me play this for you. I'm looking at the squares now, and I know there's a bunch of people that I need to prep this to let you know that I'm okay with whatever it is that you do, okay? So like in where we live now, weed is legal, right? It's legal. It used to be halfway legal, like fake legal. Do you remember that? When you had to get your doctor to lie for you? Like, you know, Don has glaucoma and some anxiety. He needs some Hawaiian bud. I'm prescribing that for him now. Remember those days, right? But now you can just go get it, and I'm okay with it. Think you could do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm glad people aren't going to jail for it. If you know, better than taking other things for your pain, whatever. Here's my concern. Again, I'm okay with whatever you do. All right, let me say that again. I'm not. My concern is two concerns. One, and Michelle, you know this, and then my other friends from Lynn, you can't go anywhere in this town and not smell weed. Nowhere. It's coming out of churches and kindergartens and police cars. It's like everywhere. And so my first concern is for joggers, because you leave your house totally sober and wind up coming home an hour later with a big 2-pound bag of Doritos and calling rehab because you had to cross by all this smoke out there in the world. But I don't even care about that. My real concern is about conversation. Like, I love conversation. There's so many people here tonight that I have had wonderful conversations with in my life. And no matter what you think, your conversation quality is not as good when you're under the influence, especially that sticky shit that you use these days, right? The first victim of that is coherent conversation. And so I believe that those of us who like focused conversation, you know, the kind where the person that you're talking to can remember what you said, you know, that kind of conversation. Well, I believe that we're going to have to go underground. We're going to have to go underground. We're going to have secret society, speakeasies. We'll call them Speak Coherently Easies. There'll be an underground society. So here's my song. Again, I can see right now half of these cubes that I'm looking at, half of these squares, people are lighting up in it right now. It's okay. Do whatever you want. It's okay. Just, you know, I'm not interested in what you think is profound at the moment when you're under the influence. That's, I guess, my only concern. I sat around with a bunch of stoners. I listened to them talk all night long. They were sure that their conversation was deep with meaning. They were wrong. 'Cause when you smoke it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This isn't nothing at all. My friend Harry lit up a fatty to celebrate my brand new job. I watched his brain float out of my window. He left me talking to an empty blob. 'Cause when you smoke it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This is nothing at all. All right, I have to get into character for this. We're in somebody's basement, like their mom's basement. They're away on vacation. We're, I don't know, 19, all of us maybe. There's too much smoke in the room. Your friend across the room, he's got a deep thought that he wants to convey because he knows that once you hear this profound thing that he's about to say, it's going to change your life. He's sure of it. So here, let me slow the guitar down to stoner speed. Here, wait a second. There you go. Still a little fast, but... So this is the deep thing. Ready? It's going to change your life. What if our whole life was just a dream, man? What if we're dreaming this right now? I forgot what I was just saying. Let's order pizza. Wow. 'Cause when you smoke it, it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This is nothing at all. It cures glaucoma. It cures insomnia. Some people say that it is a cancer cure, but it does not cure incoherent conversation. That's for sure.
All right, Dawn.
There you go. Oh, sometimes I play that and it makes stoners mad at me, which is hilarious. like, what does a angry stoner look like? I don't know. if somebody is really high is mad at you, especially, right? Just take your keys out and jingle them like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, something shiny." All right, it's all good. I mean, I'm saying that as a person who, like, I wasn't even out of bed for 20 years and I was high on that stuff. So, whatever. It's all good. Do what you want. It's good. Nobody's going to jail for it. It's all good. Does anybody want to hear anything? Let's look and see if we got anything over here. No.
We got some requests for more live. Elijah, I moved to Maine, and Neil says anything from Disguise.
Oh,
Vagabonds in Disguise.
All right, let's do that. You want to do that one, Brandon? You want to get that set up?
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to play this song for my wife. My wife has been with me a good long time. We've been married since 1978. How about that? And we've been locked down in this house of COVID since April, and we're still getting along. It's a good thing that the house has 2 floors in it. I try to stay upstairs. It helps a lot with that, with maintaining the marriage. But we left Lynn, Massachusetts when I was 17 years old, and we hitchhiked for 3 years. Do you believe that? You're looking at somebody who hitchhiked around the country for 3 years. When I say that, I feel like a guy who, like, worked in a buggy whip factory or something, right? Like, when was the last time you even saw a hitchhiker? We just lived on the highway. We hitchhiked the Attn Highway in 1975. The whole thing was 1,500 miles of dirt road at that time, right? So we stood for 3 days in one place in Whitehorse, Yukon Territory, right? Just one day, 2 days, 3 days. First day, peanut butter, bread, and jelly. Next day, peanut butter and bread. And then after that, what do you call it? Peanut butter a la finger, right? and that's how we lived. But we met all these crazy people, insane people. I was a guy from Lynn. Right now I'm hanging around with Kundalinis and like in ashrams, and I met Baha'is. Like, believe me when I tell you, I don't know what you know about Lynn, Massachusetts, but growing up here, you are not supposed to know what a Kundalini or an ashram is. It's like, it's forbidden. But like when I came back, I couldn't be the same Lynn guy I was when I left, because my world had blown open, right? So, and I think about her. We have, again, here's an interesting thing here. When you've been together as long as we have, right, and you're still crazy about each other, it's a rare bird, really. It doesn't happen that much. And she put up with plenty of crap from me. I was late coming to the I'm gonna be okay party. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was testing the limits of not being okay for a good long time there. But we have things now that I don't know how to explain to younger people. Like, we can talk without talking. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't even have to send messages telepathically anymore. That's a waste of energy. Like, she just looks at me, and I know exactly everything. It's not even. It's just it's just that way. And if you saw us getting out of the car like today, we got out of the car and we make sounds now when we get up from a sitting position. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, like that. We make these kind of sounds like that. If you were seeing us get out and heard these low moaning animal sounds that we're making, you would be right to assume that we are an elderly couple, or we're certainly close to that, or we're an older couple. But I don't see her that way. I see her 18 years old in a flower dress that we bought at a flea market on the road for 50 cents, with the wind blowing through her hair, and a sense of freedom that is so profound. We had so much freedom. No place to go to, no place to go back to, just what's going to be down here, who we going to meet, what can we learn, for 3 years of our lives. I mean, so I'm going to just put this out to her. Thanks for Neil for asking for something off of this album here. So here we go. Didn't I know you in 74? You were wild, you were out of control, hitchhiking far and wide for 10 months at a time, sleeping by the side of the road. All day long you would walk, hiking boots, Birkenstocks. You lived on black beans and rice. The wind in your hair, my friend. The freedom you knew back then still can be seen in the eyes of a waitress with 2 kids at her side. Didn't I know you in 74? You were wild, you were out of your mind. Ram Dass and Alan Watts all night in truck stops. Your poetry on highway signs. The road was your teacher, then sleeping on beaches and reaching for things in the sky. The wind in your hair, my friend. The freedom you knew back then still can be seen in the eyes of a watchman with 2 kids at his side. And when it's midnight, I work the graveyard shift. Daylight, I sleep, you watch the kids. Noontime, you're ironing your uniform. Midnight, return, leave the engine on a kiss, a hug at the door. A long time since 74. I left a note for you, a few things we need to do. It's hanging up on the wall. It says power bill must be paid, both the kids have been bathed, your brother from Florida called. And round it goes where it goes, no one knows. Put your feet up for a while. There's wine in the fridge, I'm late, give me a kiss. You know, in that slow-moving smile, I still see that vagabond child. Didn't I know you in '74? You were wild, you're out of your mind. Around Dawson Allen, walked all night in truck stop. Your poetry on highway signs. The road was your teacher, then sleeping on beaches and reaching for things in the sky. The wind in your hair, my friend, the freedom you knew back then still can't be seen in the eyes of two vagabonds in disguise. And when it's midnight, I work the graveyard shift. Daylight, I sleep, you watch the kids. No time, you are ironing your uniform. Midnight, return, leave the engine on a kiss, a hug and a sigh. Two vagabonds in disguise.
Oh, that's beautiful, Don.
I can't even look at this picture. Who are those babies?
Looks like Lauren.
Wait a minute. He looks like me. Let's get this
That's
right.
what I meant.
All right, so let me do one more tune and then we'll take a little break. Just enough to put the information up if you could donate. Grocery Day's tomorrow. So, again, if you're not doing well, don't worry about it, man. I love you. You're always welcome where I am. But if you could drop a few bucks into the Venmo or PayPal. We even have like a mailing address. For those of you like me who can't figure out, who are horrified by PayPal and Venmo, you could like take your feather quill pen and dip it into some ink that you made out of some berries in your backyard. Take a piece of parchment out and write a, what would you call it? A promissory note, I guess. A promissory note, and fold it up and give it to the Pony Express, and they will deliver it, in 3 weeks' time to and I'll get it. So we have all the options covered here for all of you there. So here. But if you can donate something, please do. But again, no pressure. And I'll mean this after, when we're out performing again in regular venues. If you're broke and you want to come to my concert, you never have to feel bad. Just call me, send me an email. You can come. I've been without money more than having it, and I never want that to be an issue. But the Dawn White Ramen Noodle Fund is getting a little low over here, and so whatever you could do to put some money in the cookie jar, that would be good too. So this is a song that I've been closing those festivals with for all of these years here, and I want to send it out to everybody who's struggling or having a little issue here. This is for all of you. There is a little girl with pretty curls. She's about 5 years old, and she is waiting at the gate for her dad to come home. When he pulls around the corner in his shiny white car, she feels the magic light up in her heart. And he picks her up and he holds her. He says he misses missed her. He's glad that she is here. As the child lays her head on his shoulder, she whispers these words in his ear. Daddy, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. Now she is 20 and there's plenty of love everywhere. She's getting married, so her family and her friends are all there. They've gathered this morning to stand at her side as she waves goodbye to this time in her life. And they each take a moment to hold her and to tell her what she means to them. In a world that seems to keep getting colder, she has been blessed with a warm family and friends. She says, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. Now they are older and no one told her it got crazy like this. They're going to night school, they're working jobs too. They are raising 3 kids. The youngest one is crying with a bruise on her knee. She needs attention and she needs sympathy. And when she picks her up and she holds her, that old magic lights up in her heart. And as the child lays her head on her shoulder, she knows exactly why they're working so hard. Little girl, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. Now they are 60 and their history spans 40 odd years. They have buried their parents. Now their grandkids are here. There's something about the way they look in each other's eyes that speaks softly about the meaning of life. And when he puts his arm out to hold her, it feels so familiar and warm. She thinks love is an expanding endeavor till your last breath, from the moment you're born. Now she is 80 and she hates being in this nursing home. Her man's been gone now for a long while and she feels so alone. She closes her eyes and she begins to pray that a little comfort might just come her way. And God lifts her up and he holds her. And she remembers this feeling she has. She is not a woman whose life is almost over. She's a little girl being held by her dad. And God, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. And God, love is real simple. Love is real simple. Love is real simple and true.
Thank you, Dawn.
There
Beautiful.
Woo!
Woo!
That.
All right, I wrote that song in 1990, I think, 1991, and every time I sing it, I have a new person that comes to mind. Was my mother, my wife, my daughter, my grandchildren, you know what I mean? Like the song has never run out of people to me get all for me to get all emotional about what I'm thinking when I'm singing it. But I still feel it. I still feel it, and glad that you're here with me. So here, this is the deal. We're gonna put the information up on the screen here, but it's also gonna be in the chats. If you can donate a few bucks, that would be good. I'm only gonna be gone for 3 minutes. I'm gonna splash some water on my face. I'll come back and play till about 20 or 25 past, and then we're gonna have a an after party with really with special guests. I don't want to give it away. I'm just saying, if you have a long ride home, maybe you want to get a head start on that. But if you don't, like if your ride home is just down the hallway to the living room, like most of us, you might want to hang out just to see. The after party is a chance for us to hang out and to talk and to do the things that we lost during COVID, which is to feel like we're in a community. So again, doesn't matter to me, like I just suggesting to you, and Sarah, back me up on this. The after party is, generally speaking, a really fun thing.
You don't want to miss it. You do not want to miss it.
Sarah does not lie. All right, so I'll be back in 3 minutes, and I'll see you soon. All right. back. So I want to shout out to somebody. I'm not sure if she's in this part of it or not, but Kim and Scott are two fans of mine who have come to shows quite a lot over the years. But they reminded me that it was this time of year that he proposed to her at my concert. And I'm telling you, like, I was like, man, this has got to be the coolest thing that ever happened to a folk singer, right? But now, so I'm not sure where they're at, but wherever you are, I love you. I know that you were in here someplace, but I love you. If you were here, I would get you to tell the story, but I don't know where the heck you are. Those of you that are watching over on other spots, inside the chat, there's a way to come over here to the Zoom part of this so we can talk a little bit. I see that Jana is over there, and Jana, I would love it if you came over here and just chatted with us if you're going to hang around. I'd like to see you. But anyway, thanks to everybody. I'm going to tell this story. I've told it a lot, but I'm going to do this. I'm to tell this story, sing a song, and then we'll have our after party. So I think I can give it up now. So in that, well, I'm not going to give it up. I'm going to tell you this story. This is. You know what? It's too long. Maybe I won't do it. Let me do the song. Do-do-do-do-do-do. September comes subtle, a chill in the breeze. I reach for my sweater. I know what this means. Warm days are not over, but change has begun. Subtle but steady, the world tilts away from the sun. The summer was fruitful, and the harvest looks good. Our family prospered like we hoped it would. Our struggles were many, those struggles are done. Come sit by my side while the world tilts away from the sun. Away from the sun. Away from the sun. Most hardly noticeable, we know this change has begun. Change has begun. Change has begun. Subtle but steady, the world tilts away from the sun. On a world full of wonder, we spin through the sky. Loving, fighting, growing, and wondering why. While a big ball of fire above us looks down, shining warm light upon us as we spin around and around. Away from the sun, away from the sun. Most hardly noticeable, we know this change has begun. Change has begun. Change has begun. Subtle but steady, the world tilts away from the sun. Let's spend all the money on laughter and song. Let's dance with these bodies till these bodies are gone. And when it's all over, you will know that it is true. My life only had meaning 'cause I got to share it with you. September comes subtle, a chill in the breeze. I reach for my sweater, I know what this means. The warm days are not over, but change has begun. Subtle but steady, the world tilts away from the sun. Come dance with me while the world tilts away from the sun.
Beautiful, Don. Yo.
Alright, that's for my Nebraska couple that I love so much. Here, this is for Carrie Carlson. She's still here. Carrie, there you go. Our kids are grown. They're both in their 20s. They live at home. They are never gonna leave. And why should they go? They've got it good here, you know. Their food, their phone, their rent is free. They would have to be out of their minds to leave. But I was thinking, what if things were different? You know, living here at home with you and me. What if we decided we could act like they both did when they were in their teens? So wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I have got the key, let's steal our daughter's car. And we will both get really drunk, and we'll put a big dent in her trunk. And we'll drive real fast down the thoroughfare. If we get a speeding ticket, hey, we won't care. We'll be the ones up all night acting wild. They'll be the ones up all night worrying. Wake up, mama, climb out of this window. Come on out and be 16 with me. Picture our kids calling all of our friends up and asking them if they know where we are. Of course, all our friends will lie and say they ain't seen us all night. But we'll be standing right beside them while they're on the phone, smoking, drinking, and carrying on when we come strolling home on a Sunday morning. You know, around 10 o'clock while the neighbors walk to church. Our kids will ask us where we've been, and then they'll ask us again, and we will just make up a great big lie and swear that it's the truth until the day we die. And they'll be the ones trying to find the truth out. And we'll be the ones who are lying through our teeth. And under pressure, we'll confess that we had unprotected sex. That will gross them out so much they might just start to think about moving out. If turnabout is fair play in this life, then what better way to encourage them to leave than to give them both a dose of what it was like to live with them when they were in their teens. Wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I have got the key, let's steal our daughter's car. And we will both get really drunk, and we'll put a big dent in her trunk. And no one will know where we are until we come home in a police car. We'll be the ones up all night acting wild. And they'll be the ones up all night worrying. Wake up, mama, climb out of this window. Oh man, be careful, you're not as young as you used to be. That's 40 feet down there. I should have brought a ladder, probably. You know what? The kids are both drunk and passed out. Let's just go out the front door. Come on out and be 16 with me.
Yo! Great, Don.
Right. 30 years sober, singing about getting drunk to piss your kids off. That's what we do here. All right. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up now. I'll play this one more song. I want to thank you all for the support through the years. There's so many friends here today. It just makes me so happy. And just love you all so much. This is the weirdest time in the world. And just the fact that I can see your faces, it means something to me. It's tricking my brain into thinking that you're here. I said this last week. I've been saying it. We're writing a letter to Zoom. We have a bunch of things they want to do for us. But number one on my request for them is I want a hug button on here. Right? Like I've got all kinds of other buttons, but no hug button. And that would really make me I would buy stock in Zoom.
I'm coming in for you, Don. I'm coming in.
Coming in for a hug. All right, here we go. All right. Oh, squeezing too hard. Stop it. Now, all right. We had Peter Yarrow one time in the after party, and he was very clever. He said, everybody hold your hands like this. Here a second. This was like a real 60 kumbaya thing that he did, which he's very qualified to do. He said, go like this, everybody, and shake hands with the person in the other square. It was pretty funny. All right.
It was funny. It was.
So let me do this one more tune. We'll put the splash up again just for a second, and again, if you can throw a few bucks into the grocery thing, that's great, but don't worry about it. And then we'll have our after party song swap where we get to hang around and everything. This is a song that when I was talking about Terry, my wife, I'm the only one that calls her Terry. She's Teresa to everybody else, but I can't change it. I don't know. I just knew her as Terry. So way back. But Teresa. Talking about her, so when we had this house in Maine, right, and it had no running water and a 2-seater outhouse. A 2-seater outhouse in that, like, you open the door into like a barn, attached barn, and that's where it was. And my parents were so disappointed in me. The level of their disappointment in me was palpable at that point in their life. Like, my father was like, "What are you doing?" I'm trying to get back to the earth, dude. He's like, I don't know what that means, but if it means being dirt poor the rest of your life, you are doing a hell of a job, son. The 2-seater outhouse was just too much for them. He's like, I never told your mother this, but when you were little, I dropped you on your head, and I think this is the result of it. I think this is what happens. You think this is a good way to live here. And I have to tell you one more thing. I'm going totally off script here. What the hell does it matter? I got no place to go. My brother was he's a really funny, good guy. He's like a regular guy, drives a forklift for a living, but he's funny. And he told me this story. He said, I was in your outhouse, your 2-seater outhouse, and I looked down and I saw, what did you used to call that big book? The Sears catalog. He said, I saw the Sears catalog, and I noticed about half the pages were ripped out, and I was wondering about it. And he goes, and then I went, oh! Don't make me spell it out for you, all right?
Yeah.
We were actually that poor. All right. So the reason I want to end with this song is that because all that hitchhiking that we did, one of the things that it really did for us that paid off, I don't recommend anybody hitchhike or anything, my daughter used to say to me, yeah, how about I go take off and go hitchhiking around the country when she was a teenager? And I go, are you going to bring $400 worth of hair products with you? But anyway, one of the benefits over time that really paid off is that we had no cell phones and nothing. We were just out there on our own. And in all these situations where it was the kindness of strangers was the only thing that we had to keep us moving, or to get us out of trouble, or to bring us from a rainy place, or a place where there was no place for people to pull over, or a hostile place. And the kindness of strangers was a constant in 3 years of hitchhiking. People were just kind to us all the time, and we got really used to the idea that things would work out because we had no choice, right? We just like, we'll just see what happens, right? Well, I remember, this is a real hippie thing, I remember taking our last $1.50 and leaving it where we were hitchhiking on a ramp for the next hitchhiker, and like trusting that the cosmos would get, you know, like we had money that my mother was going to send me, but we had to go a couple days without any money, but we would do that. And over the years it really helped, you know. And so this day in this house, 1982, 81 probably, we're like, I think we're penniless. I said to her, I think we have not one penny, not a single penny. And we decided to prove my theory out. So we went into the closet, and we like put our hands in all the pockets of all the jackets. No money, like no bank account, no food stamps, nothing. Like I believe that we are actually literally penniless, like without a penny. And so then we stuck our hands down in the couches, and I'm like, ha 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 ha. Nope, that's a cough drop. Hey, no, this is a Cheerio. No, and we looked at each other, and we said we are actually literally penniless. And so what we did set the tone. You know, I just think of it as something that, a moment that has served us well. We said, well, what can you do when you have no penny? We just started to dance. We did we are actually without a penny waltz in the living room. You know, like Zorba the Greek at the end of that movie, when all his stuff that he built crashes down into the ocean. The guy goes, what do we do? Our whole life savings, everything. He goes, I think we should dance. That's what we did. So thank you for coming. Here you go. I overheard a man complaining how his 401k was not performing quite how he would like it to. As he sipped his double latte and continued to complain, I thought about that day in 1982. We were living in the shack with the outhouse in the back. If I'm not mistaken, you were pregnant too. We thought it might be funny to count up all of our money and discuss all the investing we could do. We pulled our pockets inside out, pulled the cushions off the couch, stuck our fingers way down deep inside. And we emptied out the pockets of the jackets in our closet, but not one single penny did we find. So after the realization our financial situation was not conducive to investment at this time, we decided to invest in what we've always done best. Danced around the kitchen for a while, we do the victory dance. Life is such a mess, we don't know what else to do. We do the victory dance when being penniless became literal to me and you. Well, you could jump off of a building, take a bunch of pills, you could walk around in a trance. But if you wake up in the morning on the right side of the lawn, go on and do the victory dance. I got fired from a job I had been working at for 20 years faithfully. Oh dear, oh God, oh my, how will I ever survive without a corporation taking care of me? I was so stressed out for weeks, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I didn't think that things would ever turn my way. And then a couple months went by, I began to realize, man, I really hated working at this place. So I started working for myself, improved my mental health, now I'm happier than I've ever been before. Oh dear, oh my, oh God, I should have quit that stupid job 19 years ago. I do the victory dance when my life forces me to go out on my own. And then I just declare victory and march my army home. There are things you can't control, things you'll never know, but things are always left to chance. If you're a clerk or you're a farmer, work from home in your pajamas, go on to the victory dance. When your life forces you to go out on your own, I say, declare victory and then march your army home. There are things you can't control, things you'll never know, but things are always left to chance. But if you wake up in the morning on the right side of the lawn, if you're a clerk or you're a farmer, work from home in your pajamas. If your health is getting worse but you can still flirt with the nurse. If the world has gone to hell and the stores are not carrying Purell. If you're stuck in a tiny house with your children and your spouse. If they canceled all your shows and you got nowhere to go, now you're sitting in your room playing concerts on Zoom. What? You wonder what it means to play songs to a computer screen? Across the top are little squares and all your friends are trapped inside of there. And you say to your friends who are trapped in the squares, give me a sign, let me know you're all okay in there. Someone just held up a sign that said, save me. You know, trapped in a square on a computer screen is just a metaphor for quarantine. That's right. If you lose your money, but you still got your honey. If you lose your honey, but you still got some money. You find it hard to cope because your kids are all on dope. Don't surrender yet. Try not to forget in this game of life we're in. In this game of life we're in. In this game of life that we are in. If you don't die, you win.
Very good.
Hey, love it, love it.
All right, 2-minute break, and then we'll be back with our after party and our special guest. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. This is just another chance to pass the hat a little bit, and I will be back in 2 minutes. Alright, so I'm back, and now thank you for another good night here tonight, and thanks for all of you that donated and everything. I appreciate it. We'll hand that money right off to Teresa. So those of you, I was just over there popping into chat over there in Facebook. There you are over there, Facebook. If you want to come over here, Brandon, will you post again to the meeting number and the password? We don't put the clickable link because that's how we get Zoom bombers, but you cut and paste the meeting number and the password, and you can come over here and hang out. But you can hang out over there too if you want to be anonymous, but I like having you over here so we can talk. So let's get started. The first person is someone that hasn't done one of these for us yet, and I've been thinking about getting him over here. He's a great singer-songwriter and a musician. He's in a band called the Swingin' Stakes. So let's make him feel really good. First time here at the after party. His name is Jamie Walker. Please, everybody.
Hey, Jamie!
There he is right
Thank
there.
you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you so
Hear
much.
you, buddy. You got to work on your sound.
Do I need to turn off my?
No, it's good. I got it. It was my bad. Sorry.
So should my original sound be to say turn off, or should it say turn on?
Yes,
I
that is
forget.
correct. Leave it on
Okay.
turn off.
Okay, should be good to go then.
So, Jamie, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it so much.
Hey, man, it is my pleasure. And, listening to you for the last hour there, it just brought me back to the first time that I met you in, I would say, 91.
Wow.
Because you already had I Know What Love Is.
Mm.
I distinctly remember that and made an impression forever and sort of cemented you in my mind as just one of those special people on earth that I was born to meet at some point. And
You were born to be on the internet with it.
yeah, yep.
Well, we've talked a lot about me here. I'm a little shy about that. Thanks to everybody. But why don't you let everybody put Swinging Stakes, just talk about them for a second and then play something, and then we'll chat a little bit when we go around another time. Does that work for you?
Sure. Swinging Stakes is my band that I sort of morphed out of a band that I had previously in the 80s called The Drive. And the Swinging Stakes were born in the 89, 90. We got signed to Capricorn Warner Brothers in 91 or 92 and had a brief touring history with Los Lobos in the band. We had actually one officially national label release, which was 5 songs from our original album, self-produced, re-released with 5 new songs. And then we had 6 more CDs after that over the years that were released on our own label.
It's a great band. It's kind of it's got country roots, and there's a whole lot going on with that band. So I recommend everybody stop the band. But Jamie's got a great band going too, and he's gonna play what, a National Steel? Is that what that is?
I had my son's National here. I borrowed it for a gig, and I was like, why don't I try to play that? So you could tell me if it's too loud, but I'd like to try to see this. And this song is not my song. It's a song by a guy named Butch Hancock, who's a Lubbock, Texas songwriter, and a lot of my favorite songwriters come from that area of the world. Butch is one of the Flatlanders, so Jimmy Dale Gilmore, Joe Ely, Robert Earl Keen isn't from Lubbock, but that sort of vintage. Anyway, this is a Butch tune. And it also is dedicated to your 30 years of sobriety, because I think the first step to escaping addiction and the first step to any sort of self-mastery is becoming the third party and being able to witness, as in the Viking story, that you're not the experience that you're going through. You're not those emotions. You're kind of a third party above witnessing those. So this is called My Mind's Got a Mind of Its Own. Well, my mind's got a mind of its own. Takes me out to parties when I'd rather stay at home. Takes me out walking when I'd rather be alone. Said my mind's got a mind of its own. Well, I'm doing things I thought I'd never do. Getting into trouble without ever meaning to. No sooner settle down than I'm right back up again. I feel just like a leaf out in the wind. My mind's got a mind of its own. Takes me out walking when I'd rather stay at home. Takes me out to parties when I'd rather be alone. Lord, my mind's got a mind of its own. I'm doing things I thought I'd never do. Getting into trouble without ever meaning to. Now sooner settle down than I'm right back up again. I feel just like a leaf out in the wind. My mind's got a mind of its own. Takes me out walking when I'd rather stay at home. Takes me out to parties when I'd rather be alone. Lord, and my mind's got a mind of its own. Sometimes I think I'll do the things I should. Then I get to thinking that those things ain't any good. I tell myself the truth, but I know I'm lying like a snake. Well, you can walk on water at the bottom of the lake. My mind's got a mind of its own. Takes me out walking when I'd rather stay at home. Takes me out to parties when I'd rather be alone. My mind's got a mind of its own. My mind's got a mind of its own. My mind got a mind of its own.
Oh, Jamie, that was awesome.
Oh,
That's
Jamie,
great.
Great.
Thank you.
All
Man, that
right,
was
Jamie.
awesome. Who's the writer there? What's his name?
His name is Butch Hancock.
Butch Hancock. All right.
Butch
so
Hancock.
You'll hang around, Jamie. We'll go around at least one more time and all right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Talk a little bit more there. All right. Let's hear it one more time from Jamie Walker.
Hey,
Come on.
Jamie.
Letting it
Good
go.
friend.
All right.
Hey.
So now we're lucky. He's been kind enough to come a few times, all the way from Minnesota. Now I want you to welcome a friend to everybody in this business. Please welcome Mr. John Gorka.
Hey, John. Hey, John.
All right, John.
You're gonna have to unmute there, John.
Still muted, John.
Can you unmute yourself, John? Brian, you can't unmute him. He has to do it himself,
I
right?
will try it.
Here we go.
Hey, good job.
Yay. All right.
Thank
you.
Let's give him the applause he couldn't hear. All right. Hey.
Hey, John.
Thank you very much. So we could hear some of mine for Jamie.
Hey.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
How you been, John?
Okay.
Everything okay with you?
Yeah, things are all right. We've had some warm enough days I can ride bicycle. If it's above 30, I go up. I go out. I didn't go out today, but it's been warmer than usual. So that's kind of one of the benefits. I can get out on the bicycle. Well, hello. Maybe I'll sing you this song. It's a song from a record called Between 5 and 7. It was my 6th record. And it's a song inspired, Lucy Kaplansky used to sing this song in the group, the Red Horse group. And she said that this is a song about some of John's friends who made some unfortunate choices. It's called Blue Chalk. Can you hear everything all right?
Yeah.
So I wonder how she's doing. I hate it when the rumors fly. They give off such a strange sense of mission when your helplessness on high. But she would never run from strangers. She sang alone like a bell will toll, way above all the clang and the clatter, out of fear of her demon soul. Oh. Maybe none of this is my business, and none of what I hear is true. I'm far from the mint condition. Circulation's hard on you. Hold tight, hang tough. Love's not enough to keep you off that stuff, to save you. Hold tight, hang tough. Love's not enough to keep you off that stuff, to save you now. Oh. He can always find the holes in the bottles, even with a blindfold on. Never kept his seat on the wagon, rolling off like a rolling stone. Blue chalk between his fingers, hustling a pool room song. He always kept the line for the singers, pointing his cue right from wrong. Hold tight, hang tough. Love's not enough to keep you off that stuff, to save you. Hold tight, hang tough. Love's not enough to keep you off that stuff, to save you now. Oh. Oh.
Beautiful, John. Oh, I love that song.
Thank you very much.
John, that was awesome. Thank you so much for playing that.
You're welcome.
John does a song a week. Is that right? Like he's got some limits.
Video, yeah. That's what I've been.
Limits on his internet abilities out there. And,
Right.
But he does put a song up. Is it every Sunday, John?
Every Sunday, yes.
And the information for that is in the chat. It's his Facebook page. So cut and paste that, everybody, and check him out. And John, you'll hang around. And we'll go.
Oh yeah, I'll be here.
All right, thanks a lot. So let's get back to Jamie. Jamie, you want to do another tune for us there, buddy? We're having a Zoom moment. All right.
There we go.
There you go.
I would love to do another tune for you. This year has, amongst other strange things, it has brought some very beautiful things. A new granddaughter, my fourth grandchild.
Congratulations.
I'm very blessed, and
Congratulations.
did lose my mom this October. Beautiful lady at the age of 84, after a bit of a decline. But this song is called South Side of the Sky, which is also the title of our second Swingin' Stakes record. Another year is past. Each one goes a little quicker than the last. Though we're talking every day, things that really matter we don't get the chance to say. The little things that drag you down, run our lives in circles. I turn our heads around like the cold slap in the face. Death is there to remind us there's no winners in the race. So if you go before me, you don't get the chance to say goodbye. I'll be coming right behind you. So meet me on the south side of the sky. gonna fly you away to where the shores go on forever and the sun shines every day, to see that smile upon your face. Nothing here on earth could ever take your place. So if you go before me and we don't get the chance to say goodbye, I'll be coming right behind you. So meet me on the south side of the sky. Whoa, meet me on the south side of the sky.
Woo,
That's beautiful, Jamie.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
really nice.
Jamie, that was great, man. Sorry about your mom, but man, what a nice tune that is. Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's just roll. Let's just get as many songs into this thing as we can. Let's get back to John. We'll just spin this right around. How's that sound? All right. One more time for Jamie Walker. Everybody.
Hey, Jamie.
All right,
Hi.
Jamie.
Yay.
Come on, Gorka. Well, let's see. Where is he? Is he still here? Right there he is.
Here he is.
Yeah. So, John, let's see. What do you are you working on new stuff? You got like a CD?
Still muted, John.
No. Oh, you need to unmute yourself there, buddy. Can't hear you. Did you do it for me last time, Brian?
There it is. Okay, it said the host was not letting me unmute myself.
Wow.
Okay.
The power.
All right. Hi.
I'll take care of that.
So,
Anything new coming up, like a new album, new songs, or anything like that? Or are you working on a project, John? Or
I'm starting to concentrate on I'm working on new things. I've mainly been kind of trying to learn how to make these videos, these weekly videos, and but I'm also starting to gather some new material together. So that's I'm going to put myself back on a schedule, which I used to do. Let's check my tuning here. Yeah, our internet is fairly unreliable. They put some fiber optic cable out in the road this fall, but it's not hooked up to anything. So it's just a cable in the ground.
so like the groundhogs are getting excellent cable.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Let me sing this one. I'm gonna turn up my guitar a little bit. This is a folk song. The Water is Wide, and it's got an additional verse by Pete Seeger. I'll sing it for you. Thanks for listening, and hope it sounds all right. The water is wide, I cannot cross over. Neither have I wings to fly. Give me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I. There is a ship, and she sails the sea. She's burdened deep, as deep can be, but not so deep as the love I'm in. I know not how I sink or swim. I lean my back up against some young oak, thinking he was a trusty tree, But first he bent, and then he broke, and thus did my false love to me. Oh, love is handsome, love is fine, bright as a jewel when first it's new. But love grows old and waxes cold and fades away like summer dew. The seagulls wheel, they turn and dive. The mountain stands beside the sea. This world we know turns round and round, and all for them and you and me. Water is wide, verse. The water is wide, I cannot cross over, neither have I wings to fly. Give me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I. Both shall row, my love and I.
John, that is
Oh,
absolutely
John, that is so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank
So
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
absolutely beautiful.
That was great, John. You know,
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. I'm glad to be a part of this.
you know, you raise the property value every time you show up, so I'm happy.
Oh, that's nice.
So let's talk about that for a second. Those songs like that. I can remember like the minute that I all of a sudden fell in love with traditional songs like that, and it was when I realized the loneliness in them, like the universal loneliness, like
Universal longing, yeah.
yeah, Shenandoah, songs like that,
Yes.
where they're like, it's so human, you know, it's so it doesn't matter what century you're born in, that is just as meaningful to you, whatever. It's just, you know, you can see why they last. You can see why they
Yeah,
last,
yeah.
right?
Something that must reflect the internal workings of people, of humans. You know, I think of music as the external analog of the inner life, and I think songs like that one, Shenandoah, Green Sleeves, the just kind of melodies that are timeless and hard to wreck.
We'll try as we might.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I also had a thought that when people came to America, these songs were in, you know, they brought them with them or whatever, but it must have been so meaningful to them because there's a country that built out of people that left behind what they knew. And
Right.
and the sort of loneliness and the having to make it on your own thing, it was embraced. You'd have to say, you know, there's new lyrics to all those old melodies, Green Sleeves and all of that.
Right.
But I think they reflect an American thing in their later incarnations
Mm-hmm.
of leaving behind where you came from and trying to make it, you know, make something new. But doing it by yourself, you're alone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of Alan Lomax said about that about folk music. It's one of its main functions is to provide a little bit of home to people who have emigrated.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's true. All right, will you hang around if we do one more round, John?
Surely.
Thanks. You're the best. One more time for John Gorka, please.
Beautiful, John. Thank
Thanks,
you.
John.
Great.
All right. So I'm thinking we may see a cameo appearance by Jimmy Tingle, so keep an eye out for him. He's threatening to show up. But Jimmy Tingle, watch out for that guy. So Jamie, why don't you wrap up your hunk of this? First of all, thank you for coming and doing this. And we're here every Thursday, pretty much, with some exceptions. And you're welcome. All you guys are welcome, of course. But anytime you want to pop in, just go ahead and come by. It's always the same access information.
Sorry. This song was written back in 19 something, but it's pretty pertinent to what we're dealing with these days. It's called "We're On This Together." Sort of become a slogan, but. How fast can you run if you had to try? How good can you swim against a flooding tide? How high can you jump? Is it inches, feet, or miles? How much can you drink when the whole damn world is dry? We're all in this together. All in this together. We're all in this together. We'll see in time. We'll see in time. How good is good to you if you ain't good to me? How much can you take if the agony is free? How much money can you make before you die? What will you spend it on when there's nothing left to buy? We're all in this together. All in this together. All in this together. We'll see in time. We'll see in time. Don't wanna forget. Or even intended. It's not done yet. We're all in this together. All in this together. We're in this together. We'll see in time. We'll see in time.
Beautiful, Jamie.
All right, Jamie.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Woo!
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, everybody, check out Jamie Swinging Steak page and his Facebook page, and don't let him hide out there in obscurity in Central Mass. Make him. We got him all tuned up here for Zoom today. So one more time for Jamie Walker, please.
All right, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Where are you located now, Jamie?
I am in Dover, Massachusetts, which is
Dover,
about it's about half an hour southwest of Boston.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see and hear you again.
Thank you, Neil. Good to see you too, my friend.
It's been a long time.
All right. So we're doing pretty good with time here. My friend Michelle scooted out. I was gonna get her to do a poem for me, but we have another great poet here. I wonder if we could talk Tim Mason into doing something for us. Tim, what do you
Tim.
think? There he is.
Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Looking from New
Hey,
Mexico.
Tim.
There he is.
Hey, Jamie. It's good seeing you.
Tim,
All
so
right.
good to see you, man. Wow. Years.
Talk about going way back, huh?
That's right. We're gonna do another old Vienna gathering at some point, so I'll have to
Sweet.
get looped into that.
Love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Special time.
I'm in internal quarantine here. I was just up in Cambridge, but I'm back in Santa Fe now.
Oh my goodness.
That's mostly where I am. The highlight of the trip was the Pilot Flying J truck stop on Thanksgiving somewhere in Missouri or Kansas. The best thing, this really rednecky old trucker couple was in there. They had the Swanson turkey dinner out beside the microwave, and she'd taken a whole bunch of those prepackaged hard-boiled eggs, and they were all sliced up on a styrofoam plate. She had this cup with all the yolks and was raiding the condiments tray beside the rolling hot dogs and making deviled eggs.
Ooh.
It was brilliant.
Yummy.
That's Hi America.
You never let us down, Tim.
Bye, America. Anyway, if you don't know, we've got the 830 Club, 0830club.com. And Don inspired us to try to do a lot of things. So this month we've got a show, Poets Theater show, featuring Ray Linda Woad, for those of you from the old Vienna days. And Chris Chandler is also putting together quite a show. So take a chance to check that out. And that's my obligatory sort of commercial, non-commercial announcement. And you want a poem from me. So I think I feel like another one of those times when I let my mind wander and I go on these interspecies journeys. And this one was one afternoon after I had been a dolphin. My world surrounds me. It's a symphony of buoyancy. Surviving here is always a dance, sliding, spinning, agile, nuanced song, shrill and rich, enfold us all with us in each of the 7 directions we travel continuously. North and south, east and west, above, below, and inward, where we always live. Up and inward, out and inward. We always travel in 2 directions at once. Usually we move in 3. It is in this way we find our food, and in this way find our reason for living, sensing our place. In the one song of the sea, we find our note and feed. Our song grows. This is a way of things here below and above that we fear for our family that opted for legs and air. Substance is thin there, directions harder to follow. When we break the ceiling for oxygen and sky, we go more and more distressed. The song sounds pain. The song sounds hungry. It resonates pride, greed, dominance, disharmony. We breathe once because it is necessary, dive deeper because it is essential. Anger, is not in our nature. Truth, for more than its moment, is not celebrated. Justice, the province of the divine. We dive inward deeper to find rectification, atonement, redemption. We sing from our soul with all our strength. We sing to reach you in the rhythms of nature. We sing to reach you in the stirrings of dreams. We sing to reach you. So join with us, your very being. Sing the song of your soul. Unite the voices above and below. Sing.
Yeah.
Woo!
Beautiful,
All
Tim.
right.
Great to see you, my
Wow.
friend.
Wow. The OVN.
Wow.
Oh man, nicely done.
Yes.
Wow,
Incredible.
thank you, Tim. So, Tim, why don't you put your information for the 8:30 Club and all the old Vienna shows into the chat so people can cut and paste that and know when you're doing what you're doing, okay?
All righty, I'll do that.
Right. And I like your thing, but I'd be afraid to use it, your screen thing, because I was, I would be afraid if people didn't like what I was doing, they could just change the channel on me.
Yeah, well, that Shannon knows all those tricks. I just stay along for the ride.
All right, thank you, Tim. One more time for Tim Mason, my hero.
All right.
Hey, Tim. Sounding great.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, John Gorka, you want to take us home? Actually, I'm going to ask Jana to do something after this. She doesn't have
Sure.
to. So John,
Wait, what were you going to ask me to do? It kind of depends.
you could tell us a story or sing us a song or I don't know.
A song.
A song sounds good, right? So do you want to go? Let's have John do his thing, and then we'll get you to wrap it up for us. How that sounds?
All right, what kind of song would you like?
I don't care. Whatever you want. This is there's multiple freedoms here, so you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
All right. So let's John. What do you got for us, John?
A song about time. It's one of those songs that come about when if I don't have any answers, I ask questions. So this is one of those. It's called True in Time. What is true in time? What is true in time? Does it really change with every season? Or is it always fixed and bound to reason? My camera froze. Should I start again?
I can still hear you.
Okay. Let's try again.
Radio now.
There it goes. Gotta focus myself again. Here we go. All right. I was feeling a little unfocused. True in Time, take 2. What is true in time? What is true in time? Does it really change with every season? Or is it always fixed and bound to reason? What is true in time? What is true in time? And the words I used to think were mine come back to me in another's lines. Yesterday comes back in rhyme. Yesterday comes back in rhyme. Yes, I look around and often find the past is either here or close behind. I look ahead and I could swear there was a path, now nothing's there. This crumpled map's too hard to read. It seems that time just picks up speed. It seems that time just picks up speed. If we find love in time, there's room for yours and mine. If what is true can change with every minute, then how can we believe or have faith in it? If I can sing long enough and make each song a song of love, then maybe every song comes true, true in time, true in time.
Oh, John, that is awesome, John.
Love it, John.
Man.
Boy, you have a gift. Boy.
Thank you very much. I wrote that with Pete Kennedy. Pete had the idea for the title. We collaborated on the lyrics over the internet, and I came up with the tune.
Wow.
That's great. Pete's great too.
Beautiful.
Yeah, awesome.
That was just so good. So in the chat now over here on this in the Zoom is John's information and you can all these artists are trying to stay alive, so you can donate to them and all of that stuff. We just all trying to stay together and stay alive, and I'm so grateful to you, John, and to Jamie for bringing your music to this and helping us feel like we're together.
Yes, nice to be with you.
Thank you so much, Don.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we're still doing good with time. We like to wrap this up around 9:30. So I want to introduce you to Janice Stanfield. She's some of you might know her. She's really does fantastic work in this world, just out there making the world better in little ways all over the place. And I have to tell you, when I first met her, I met her at Kerrville the first year that I was there. And I was so intimidated, and she liked the song that I sang, and she dragged me around to all these campsites and pushed me into the circles, like, so just like with this force of nature on my behalf at Kerrville. And I never forgot it. It was a very kind gesture. I would have never have pushed myself into those situations. And then I've been keeping an eye on her ever since then, and she's just a force of positive energy in a real significant way, and I'm so delighted that she's here. So thank you, Jana, for being here. And would you play a song for us? Are you comfortable?
Yes.
Yes. Do you play on Zoom? You know about the original sound and all that stuff? Or?
Turn on original sound.
It should say turn off. So.
Okay.
So that will take the suppression out.
Okay. You know what? If I cared about my sound that much, I'd get a better guitar.
Well, we want you to sound good. So if as long as it says turn off, you should be good to go.
Okay. And, if I cared that much, I could take lessons. Someone asked, oh, you put the sound thing, didn't they have to cut a hole in your, doesn't that compromise your sound? Really? Do you think I care? And thank you to all of you who did take lessons. I admire you very much. I'm really embarrassed about this, like seriously embarrassed. Like I don't get embarrassed easy, but I just noticed that I should probably plug my computer in before I start, or I might end a little abruptly.
All right.
Just 1 second.
Abrupt endings, we're used to them in the internet, aren't we? All of a sudden, the image of the idea that we're all together is abruptly ended.
Okay, I want to show you one of my favorite things that happens when I'm on Zoom. The whole thing falls over.
Nice. That's cool.
And you see it's just like anyone else's second bedroom. I tell my people I'm like a low budget Amy Grant with a green screen over here. All right. Megan McDonough of the Bitchin' Babes recorded this. And what I loved best about that is that Megan McDonough has been my favorite singer ever since I first saw her with the Babes in Atlanta. When I was a Nashville songwriter going, why don't I fit in? I just want to write songs about life, songs about journeys and, metaphors. And I'm all into David Wilcox playing at the Bluebird. I'd go see him and go, yeah, that's me. That's what I want to do. But why doesn't that fit in country music? And I'm so grateful to have found Megan McDonough and the Bitchin' Babes, who led me to the Kerrville Folk Festival, where I met Don White. What would I do if I knew I could not fail? Actually, this takes me back to the days before being a Nashville songwriter, when I was a television news reporter. Janice Stanfield, Eyewitness News, Channel 4, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Waco, Texas. With all of this poetry and love inside me, I was writing the headlines and delivering the stories in front of all the things that were behind me when I was doing the news. And all of that time, this was my dream. What would I do if I knew I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sail? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear with the voice of courage. Whisper in my ear. Maybe this is what I'd hear. I am brave enough to move ahead, where true believers dare to tread and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today? I am brave. What will I do today? I am brave. What will I do today? I am
Yeah.
Beautiful, Jana. Wow.
Woo!
Great.
All right. Woo!
Jana, any Thursday you want to come by, you do it, and people look her up. Jana, stick your information in the chat if you want people to know about your different things that you're doing, your refugee school and all that. And thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. One more time, Jana Stanfield.
Hey, Jana. Awesome.
Great song.
All right. So just like it was back in the days when I was hanging around Catch a Rising Star, here comes the heavyweight comedian right at the end of the night, Jimmy Tingle. Where are you? Come on alive there.
Hey.
Jimmy.
Uh-oh.
Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
Brother Don.
This is it. We're just
Hey,
about ready
Jimmy's
to
here.
put the chairs on the tables here, Tingle. Where you
wow.
been?
Oh, well, thanks, Don. I just want to stop by, Don. Congratulations, man. 30 years of sobriety.
Yeah.
Woo.
That's dynamite, man. You've been a good friend and you helped a lot of people and you're still helping people with your show. So thank you so much. And it's great to see you again. And sorry for being late, man. I had another gig as well. So what should I do, Don? Couple minutes? What do you think?
Do a couple minutes, you know.
Well, how about it that the election is over, ladies and gentlemen? How about that?
Hey.
Oh my goodness. I couldn't believe it. Joe Biden, I couldn't believe it, man. He's like a laxative to the entire world, you know? I mean, let's be honest. For the last 4 years, we've been bound. we've been uptight. And along comes Joe Biden, and it's like, you know, when he was just soothing and gentle and reassuring, and it's gonna be okay. And I'm going, I don't know if he's gonna beat this guy. This guy's got COVID. He's selling out football stadiums with the virus, right? And Joe Biden is reassuring, like he was like a laxative. And then when he won, it was like a psychological bowel movement for the entire world. It was for the first time in 4 years we could like exhale. Oh my God, he won. And we just felt like collectively we all flushed the last 4 years down the toilet. The only problem is it won't go down. It's going around the bowl. Continuing to go around the bowl. He's in Michigan. He's in Pennsylvania. He's got a lawsuit in Arizona. He's fighting the courts in Georgia. He won't go down. I called the plumber. When will the toilet be flushed? We can't flush the toilet until January 20th at noon. Oh, but I couldn't believe that Biden won. I was so happy, man, because Trump, let's be honest, he was tough. This guy was tough. He had so many powerful allies. He cut corporate taxes. The corporations loved him. He cut environmental regulations. The oil and gas companies love him. This guy actually cut regulations for the Judeo-Christian tradition. The 10 Commandments are down to 6. He got rid of lying, stealing, cheating, and adultery. If this guy had won another 4 years, there'd there'd be no more commandments. But there would always be Don White, brother. God bless you, Don White. Thank you so much for having me, and happy
you.
30th anniversary, man. Love
Hey,
you.
awesome. Great to see you, Jimmy.
Great to see you
Jimmy.
guys.
Hey.
Thank
I
you.
have to say something about this guy. I met him probably in the late '80s. He was doing prior to that he was still drinking, and he was doing comedy in the rain with a trench coat on in front of the Coop in Harvard Square, drinking out of a bottle. Hey, let me tell you a joke. Hey, you walking by. Then all of a sudden, man, he just started doing this incredible stuff, and we started doing things outside of the comedy clubs where he could stretch out, and it was a great time back then, wasn't it, Jimmy?
It was a blast, Don, and you really turned me on to the folk scene and the poetry scene, where you could go in and you could tell a story, and it didn't have to be a joke every 15 seconds. You know, it was a different pacing. You could be serious, you could be funny, and it was just it was very liberating. You know, it just opened up you could use all the different skills you had. And you're right about doing it up in Harvard Square. I used to do street performing in Harvard Square. And I have to say this, there is a fine line between street performing and simply being drunk in public. I admit.
Jimmy, I love you. This has been a great night.
I love you too, Don.
All right, I'm going to do one tune and then we'll be out of here. I want to thank everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks
Thank
everybody
you,
on
Don.
Facebook and YouTube and all that. There was a guy here earlier. He left, but I did a private show for his dad. His dad was a huge fan, and he sent me a message saying that that his dad just passed away, and that my private show for him was a big highlight for him before he went. So I was kind of hoping he would still be here, but I'm going to play this for him and for Jamie and for everybody that's you know, as we get older you watch up losing people, but there's something to be said for having folks in your life. I sang this at both of my parents' funerals. You want to talk about a tough gig, man? I don't know how I lived through it. All his children knew that he was dying. He asked them all to gather at his side. Spoke to them about the joyousness of living from the perspective of someone about to die. My love for you is what I leave behind me. I see my love in everything you are. When I am gone and you want to find me, believe me, you won't need to look too far. I will be your sense of humor. I'll be your integrity. Each time you find the strength to persevere, right inside that strength is where I'll be. When you touch a person's heart with kindness, that heart opens up a room where you will stay. As your heart grows, I know that you will find this is the way that you can live beyond your days. So take some time and contemplate the night sky, so vast beyond all you can comprehend. The magnitude of what is out around you can make your life seem small and insignificant. Then picture your heart, if grown to its potential, as being wider than all you can ever dream, and deeper than the unfathomable heavens, That's the way that my heart feels today to me. I will be your sense of humor. I'll be your integrity. Each time you find the strength to persevere, right inside that strength is where I'll be. There's really nothing more that I can say now. If you don't mind, I would like to be alone. I want to spend a short time now in prayer, to thank God for all the love that I have known, and for all these hearts where my love has found a home. And I will be your sense of humor. I'll be your integrity. Each time you find the strength to persevere, right inside that strength is where I'll be. That's where you can always go to be with me.
All right, Don. Thanks so much, Don.
Yeah.
All right. What do you say? You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Well, you already are home and you can stay here. Who gives a shit? None of it matters, right?
Thank you, Don.
Everybody, thanks
Congratulations.
Thanks, Don.
Love
You're
you.
welcome. We don't just end this. If I click this off like we were talking
you,
about
Don.
earlier, it is such an abrupt ending and such a demystifying of the illusion of us being together. It's painful and abrupt. So, like all of a sudden, the screen is blank and we are like face to face with the fact of how alone we are. So we don't do it out of respect for all of you. Just check out one at a time and say goodbye. Thanks to Jana.
Bye-bye.
Thanks to John.
Thank you,
Gordon.
Jimmy
Bye.
Tingle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you,
Jimmy,
Jimmy.
everybody. It's so great to see
Thank
you
you,
all
Jana.
and hear you
Thank
again.
Jamie.
Thank you, Jana.
Thank you, Don.
Mason. Thank
Bye-bye.
you,
Tommy and
buddy.
Marla.
Tim, be well. Be well.
All right.
And Don, just so if I may say, I spoke to Ellen and Alan Schmidt just before we got on, and I told Jamie, because Ellen introduced me to Jamie years ago, and but she and Alan both wish their wells to you and to Teresa.
I love them dearly. They're great, great folks. Those folks are.
They really are. And it's so wonderful to hear all of you and see all of you, and I just love the night tonight, as I always do, and I will say good night to you.
So here, just in the last 2 weeks, like I said earlier, I'm 5 years without cancer and 30 years without alcohol.
All right.
Going out to get drunk. That's what we're doing, right?
Keep it going, mister.
Cause for celebration. 30 years is enough. I think 30 years is enough, don't you?
We just have to keep in these Johnny Wood squares.
My wife hates when I talk like that. Like, oh, what do I have to do this? 30 years should be enough. What else do you have to do for 30 years and someone says, no, you have to keep doing it?
Priest might stab you if you keep talking like that.
aside from breathing, I guess, right?
My wife says the same thing, Don. She says the same thing, man. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Brian Dozier, good to see you.
Nice seeing you again, Jimmy.
Jana, good to see you. John Gorka, great to see you, man.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Great, Alan.
Good night, Jimmy. Be well.
Take
John,
care. Have a
it's
great
so-
holiday.
Let me